Welcome everyone to our live coverage of Starlink 17-1 mission launch from the West Coast, that is from the pad Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. If it's your first time here, hi, my name is Dipta Maitra, performing the commentary for today's mission launch, and you are watching AstroYonder live.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around.
Houston, we see a nominal MECO. Welcome to space.
We hope you all are doing fine and excited about this upcoming SpaceX Starlink launch. But for sure, we know that you are much more excited for the upcoming Starship Flight 9. But just take it this Starlink launch as a trailer for the Starship. Now, we are super excited bringing you the coverage of SpaceX's 491st overall launch and the 63rd Falcon 9 launch of this year. This also signals that SpaceX is going to have their 500 mission launch this year with only 10 more launches to go. This is going to be a huge milestone for SpaceX. Also, let us know your prediction for the month when SpaceX will reach its 500th mission launch. We'll be glad to hear from you. Today's launch marks the 21st one from Vandenberg Space Force Base for SpaceX as they continue building their incredible launch cadence for this year. Today's launch is a special one as it marks the first Starlink mission to a Sun-Synchronous Orbit in over 2 years since the 2023 Group 3 launches with version 1.5 Starlink satellites. This is also the first time the version 2 mini variant is heading out to an Sun-Synchronous Orbit. This launch is significant as its target a near polar orbit with a 97.6 degree inclination, designed to enhance Starlink's coverage over remote polar regions. We will dive into the details shortly. Right now, we are standing by for a Falcon 9 liftoff at 9:57 a.m. Pacific Time, 12:57 p.m. Eastern Time from California, for a southwesterly launch for SpaceX Starlink mission. The Starlink mission 17-1 will launch a batch of 24 Starlink satellites to low Earth orbit. Now, before we dive into the mission details, on behalf of AstroYonder team and our awesome moderators, thank you all for joining us for today's launch. We are so grateful to have you as part of the stream. Really appreciate you being here. And a huge shout out to our amazing YouTube community for the support as we bring you detailed coverage of space launches with all the stats and in depth insights. We are truly grateful to have you all here with us. I would really appreciate it if you guys could join the chat and let us know from where you are joining us. Additionally, feel free to share any questions, suggestions, or opinion which you might be having. We would love to hear from you guys. Now, just a reminder is me only managing the launch coverages on my own. So if we face any technical issues by chance, please bear with me and be tuned in. I will do my best to guide you through the Falcon 9 rocket launch happening in approximately 35 minutes from now. Yep, it is 35 minutes. Once again, just a reminder, SpaceX is targeting a liftoff time of Falcon 9 from Vandenberg Space Force Base at 9:57 a.m. Pacific Time, 12:57 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, May 27th of 2025. Now, before getting into mission details, would like to welcome our moderator joining us, Pop Tripika. Well, thanks for letting me know that the acquisition of signal is successful, and welcome, Pop Tripika. That's a nice way to show up on the chat. And yes, of course, it's like a appetizer, and the main course is waiting for us in a couple of hours from now. Right now, maybe we are. It's getting like 9 to 8 hours away. We are from the Starship Flight 9, approximately. Please don't take it into an account. Now, so far, the report suggests that the weather is looking good for today's Falcon 9 launch opportunity, and the range is ready to support. Weather officials keeping a keen eye on the weather for the probability of any launch weather constraint violations. The forecast calls for a temperature of 12 degrees Celsius, overcast clouds with 95% cloud cover, and a wind speed of 10 miles per hour. Now let's take a look at today's payload details for Starlink Group 7-1 mission. Starlink satellites built in Redmond, Washington. Today's payload consists of 24 Starlink version 2 mini satellites. Now, before discussing about payload further, just a reminder, today's payload does not consist of any newer optimized Starlink version 2 mini satellites. And today's payload does not consist of any direct-to-cell satellites as well. These are regular and basic version 2 mini variant of the Starlink satellites. Today's launch is the 46th dedicated Starlink mission of the year. Before this launch, SpaceX has already sent up 1,091 Starlink satellites in 2025 alone. With this launch, the count jumps to 1,115. And if we include the 14 version 3 variants launched on previous 2 Starship flights, those simulator ones, the count rises more with a total of 1,129 Starlinks launched this year. And we must agree that's really a astounding pace. Also, just a point it came to me right now, just to highlight to you guys that as today's payload does not consist of any optimized one, is similar the way they introduced the Shell 15 during the first launch of Group 15 launch. SpaceX did not launch any of the optimized version 2 variant, and it's the same approach they are with for today's launch, and hopefully in the upcoming launch for the Group 17, they will be attempting the optimized version to be getting launched. Now let's get back to today's payload details. Each of these satellites having 5 advanced KU phased array antennas and 3 dual band parabolic antennas using Ka and E bands, and a dual solar array that spreads out to about 100 feet wide with a total surface area of 52.5 square meters. Not to forget, these two solar arrays are also aeroneutral, which enable faster on-orbit maneuvers. And each satellite is equipped with a high-capacity battery to provide power to the payloads. Each Starlink satellite features 3 space laser transponders, also known as optical inter-satellite links, ISL for short, for intercommunication, communicating with space lasers moving data at speeds up to 200 Gbps. They make use of argon-fueled Hall effect thrusters for in-orbit maneuvering, previously which was krypton-based. And this switch was mainly due to the cost effectiveness argon provides compared to krypton. Just a quick context to understand why this switch was made. Relative to krypton, the argon required to fuel Starlink version 2 satellites will be practically free. Now to put it into perspective, fueling its next constellation of almost 30,000 version 2 satellites could cost SpaceX less than fueling 4,000, only 4,000 version 1 satellites, which were based on Krypton. Also, SpaceX claims that its second generation thrusters using argon has 2.4 times the thrust and 1.5 times the specific impulse of previously Krypton fuel thrusters. So that's all about the switch. I hope you got a little bit of insight about that. Now, today's batch is going to be deployed initially in an orbit with an altitude of approximately 267 kilometers with an inclination of 97.61 degrees. But the operational orbit will be up at around 535 kilometers with that same inclination of 97.61 degrees. Each version 2 mini satellite weighs approximately 1,763 pounds, equivalent to 800 kilograms. Now here, just a context, each of the optimized version, please mind it, I'm talking right now about the optimized one, of the Starlink satellite weighs around 1,268 pounds, that is 575 kilograms, which is about 22% lighter than the original version 2 mini design as of today. Starlink satellite uses custom-built star tracker to find their position, altitude, and orientation for optimal broadband throughput, and each one has 4 reaction wheels for precise attitude control, or you can say the orientation control, and a hot spare setup for the reliability. Additionally, they have an onboard autonomous collision avoidance system that uses the US Department of Defense debris tracking database for avoiding collisions with space junk, other spacecraft, and other Starlink satellites autonomously. Now to grasp why an autonomous collision avoidance system is so important, here's a quick bit of context. SpaceX reported last year that the Starlink satellite carry out about 275 collision avoidance maneuvers every single day, and just the previous 6 months leading up to that report, they performed about 50,000 such maneuvers. So I guess those reported numbers made you understand the criticality of an onboard autonomous collision avoidance system and put things into perspective. Now some quick fun facts. On January this year, 2025, with Group 11-18, SpaceX launched 27 optimized version 2 mini satellites for the first time. Then back on again March 31st of 2025, with Group 6-80, they launched 28 optimized version 2 minis for the first time, breaking the previous record of 27 for the version 2 minis. But again, with the recent May 4th, 2025 Starlink launch, SpaceX broke its own record by launching 29 version 2 mini optimized satellite, surpassing the previous high of 28. That was the biggest batch yet for the version 2 mini variant as of now. In comparison, the highest for version 1 is 60 satellites, and for version 1.5 it's 56. Before today's launch, SpaceX launched 19 times of its optimized version 2 mini variants, bringing the total to 520 number of satellites. Once again, just to clarify, today's payload does not consist of any upgraded optimized Starlink version 2 minis or any direct-to-cell satellites on board. This batch features the regular baseline version 2 mini satellites. So that's all about the payload discussion we have for you guys to share with. Now, today I'm not going to discuss about the optimization part for the Starlink because today's payload is not an optimized one. Now, I know it's still early in the stream, but just a quick request. If this stream fuels your love for space, give this stream a like. It helps the stream get discovered by amazing space enthusiasts like you who are joining us right now. We would be super grateful for your support. Now, please allow us a couple of seconds to check whether the launch is on time or not and to stay updated. Yes, as of now, SpaceX is sticking with their current liftoff time. So now let's take a look at the flight record for the booster supporting today's mission launch. The booster with tail number 1082 supporting today's mission, a teenage booster with 12 previous flights in its record, including 3 non-Starlink missions, OneWeb Launch 20, USSF 62, and NROL-145 for National Reconnaissance Office. And additionally, this booster supported 9 Starlink missions, now awaiting its 13th flight just 23 minutes away from now. The booster's turnaround time as of today is 37 days. The last mission supported by today's booster was the NROL-145 mission for National Reconnaissance Office on April 20th of this year. Today's launch is a consecutive 4th flight for the booster from Sleep 4 East and landing on, of course, I Still Love You droneship this year. Also worth noting, today's mission will be the 13th consecutive launch of this booster from PAD Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg, with previous 10 landings made on, of course, I Still Love You and 2 on landing zone 4. Now let's take a look at the bar graph showing number of Falcon 9 launches each year. Before this upcoming launch, SpaceX completed its 62nd Falcon 9 launch for the year, with the Starlink 12-22 mission launch from Cape Canaveral on May 24th, 2025, surpassing the total number of launches made in 2021. SpaceX now stands at 31 more than that year, and 1 more than the total launches in 2022. With today's launch of Starlink 17-1 mission, the bar graph shows 63 number of Falcon 9 launches for 2025, and with that, SpaceX will be having 2 more than the total launches made in 2022, but less than halfway to the number of launches made in year 2023. Still, I guess it's yes 33 away from catching up to 2023's record with today's mission. Now, once again, for today's launch as well, we'll be skipping the pre-launch timeline as it's a typical Falcon 9 launch for Starlink with absolutely no deviations in the pre-launch events. However, only one point, like in every stream, I like to highlight it just for your quick knowledge and which you might be already aware of, that the strong back reclining process at Vandenberg differs from that at Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center. Here at Vandenberg, we recline the strong back 13 degrees, whereas at Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center, we recline the strong back about a degree and a half away from the Falcon 9. So that's the only difference in today's pre-launch timeline schedule, as it's a Vandenberg flight. Now, once again, just a reminder, SpaceX is currently targeting a liftoff time of the Falcon 9 from Vandenberg Space Force Base at 9:57 a.m. Pacific Time, 12:57 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, May 27th of 2025. Now let's go ahead and briefly step through the trajectory for today's mission launch, which is a little bit important to discuss. Falcon 9 leaving the pad from Space Launch Complex 4 East from Vandenberg Space Force Base with the spacecraft on board, the batch of 24 Starlink satellites for a southwest trajectory, drifting away from the coast of Southern California, heading into a low Earth orbit, that is to the 17th shell of second generation Starlink mega constellation, indicated by that green line on your screen. The red line you see on your screen indicates where Falcon 9 first stage will land after stage separation, just a little later, leaving California's coast. And today's mission will be supported by, of course, I Still Love You here at the West Coast. This will be the 133rd successful droneship landing on, of course, I Still Love You if all goes well. Now, some recovery specifics for you. Planned booster recovery is approximately 568 kilometers, with estimated fairing recovery approximately 640 kilometers downrange, and the stage 2 debris reentry will be in the South Pacific Ocean on its second orbit. Now on your screen here are some of the stats related to drone ships as of today. Currently there are 3 in SpaceX's drone ship fleet. Out of the 3, of course, I Still Love You is based here at California, and other 2, just read the instructions and a shortfall of gravitas, are in Florida. We are still anticipating the addition of a 4th drone ship as promised by SpaceX earlier, but as of now, we don't have any information regarding that, but when it will be going to happen. But let's keep our hope. Now about fairing recovery, SpaceX will utilize a recovery vessel to retrieve the fairing halves from the Pacific waters. The 2 halves of the payload fairing will be recovered slightly farther, approximately 72 kilometers downrange from where the first stage lands on the drone ship. Of course, I Still Love You supporting today's mission. After those fairing halves will smoothly splash down with the guidance of parachutes. Recently, I hope you guys saw the video of the drogue chutes made by SpaceX in-house. Similarly, these fairings are manufactured in-house with the total cost of 2 halves is nearly $6 million. So it's quite obvious that SpaceX will aim to recover the fairing for repetitive use. mirroring its approach with rocket boosters upholding the motto of reusability and sustainability. Now you can see on your screen how a fairing recovery looks like. Although the recovery vessel on your screen is Dirk performing the recovery operations, but today's supporting recovery vessel is Go Beyond here at the Pacific. Other recovery vessels at the East Coast, Bob, I guess, is gearing up for the upcoming 10-32 Group 10-32 launch from Kennedy Space Center just after Starship launch, while Doug and Go Cosmos are waiting for their next assignment here at the East Coast. Now, if you feel we are adding value to your viewing experience, please consider giving this stream a like. It's like fuel for YouTube's algorithm rocket to bring in more space lovers and help rocket fans to discover this stream and to join our amazing community with amazing space enthusiasts like you. Also consider about smashing the subscribe button and turning on the bell notification as we are bringing you detailed stream packed with stats and insights, burning our all day fuel. So your a little bit of support would totally send us over the moon. Well, that's figuratively, of course. Now, before proceeding, let me check whether the liftoff time is still the same or not. Yep, it is the same. So we are just 8 minutes away from the webcast to begin. So let's just quickly get done with the stats we have for you to share with. This launch marks the 491st SpaceX's overall launch and the 46th dedicated Starlink launch of this year. This is going to be the 478th Falcon 9 launch to date. 13th flight of this particular Falcon 9 booster supporting today's mission, with tail number 1082 being in action after 37 days. By that I mean the booster's turnaround time. Today's mission marks the 63rd Falcon 9 launch and SpaceX's 65th overall launch of 2025, including previous 2 Starship flights. This will be 419th Falcon booster reflight to date. That is the launch of a booster that has flown at least once before. 127th orbital launch for SpaceX, launching from Space Launch Complex 4 East, and the 194th overall orbital launch from Pad Slick 4 East. With the success of this mission, SpaceX will have a remarkable 8,761 Starlink satellites, including 635 dedicated direct-to-cell satellites launched to date. Now moving on to some reusability statistics. This launch marks 403rd Falcon 9 booster reflight to date. This will be the 133rd landing, as I mentioned before, on, of course, I Still Love Your droneship. 13th landing of this first stage booster, supporting today's mission with tail number 1082. And with this mission's first stage landing, SpaceX will be having their 362nd overall droneship landing, marking 432nd Falcon 9 landing so far, and 451st SpaceX's overall landing to date. Now here you might be having a confusion that why our stats for the Falcon 9 landing and overall SpaceX landing is lagging by 1, because we are not considering the failed landing attempt made on the drone ship just with the instructions this year. We are excluding that landing, as it was a partial failure. So please don't get confused with that. You may go with our stats or you may go with SpaceX stats. It's all your wish, but we tend to give you the right stats. Now, speaking of drone ship landing, here are some of the stats related for drone ship landing prior to today's mission. Once again, please don't get confused with the numbers shown on your screen right now for the drone ships. These drone ships landing stats, which are right now on your screen, are excluding today's mission. These are prior to today's launch. Now we are just 4 minutes away from the webcast to begin. So let's have a look into some key stats for SpaceX launches in 2025 specifically, including today's mission. With today's mission, SpaceX will be having its 65th launch of this year, and out of those, 46 are Starlink missions, including this one. 17 were non-Starlink missions for commercial and government organizations, and 2 Starship launches. 59 of these missions using a reuse booster, including today's one as well. And now if we look into the geographical distribution, we get SpaceX is having 42 launches from East Coast. On the West Coast, they will be having their 21st launch with today's mission from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base. And as of now, 2 launches from Gulf Coast at Starbase in Texas with Starship's 7th and 8th test flights and 2 Super Heavy booster catches for both of those test flights. These numbers are going to be changed in just a couple of hours from now. And just a reminder, already you might be aware of that this time no booster catch attempt. Super Heavy booster catch attempt for Starship Flight 9. Starship is set for its 9th test flights no earlier than May 27, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 23:30 hours UTC, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, that is a local time at the launch site from Starbase in Texas. Also, some good news for SpaceX that SpaceX got approval for 25 launches per year from Starbase with the new license modification, and Starbase is now a city officially. Now moving on with the stats again. For landing, they will be nailing it for the 61st time this year. Most of the landings are on drone ships like every other year with 52 landings. Today, 17th time, a landing will be made on, of course, I Still Love You drone ship. And for ground landings, they pulled off 9 of them. SpaceX is currently working on adding a landing pad at the East Coast in order to retain their return to launch site, also known as RTLS capabilities, as SpaceX's lease for Landing Zone 1 and Landing Zone 2 expires in the month of July. And to my speculation, that is going to be only 1 landing pad instead of 2 as we are having right now. Now, prior to today's launch, the success rate for ground landings is 98.89%. For drone ship landing, it is 96.78%, and the overall landing success rate is 97.19%. The landing success rate for this year dropped to 98.36% due to the failure of booster 10 number with tail number 1086 to land on Just Read the Instructions drone ship during Starlink Group 12-20 mission. So about that I was talking before, that why we are not counting 1 landing for each Falcon 9 and the overall count. Now today's mission is the 127th launch since last mission failure, that is the Starlink 9-3 mission. And once again, this page of stats are prior to today's launch, and what we have here is 134 launches, the highest annual launches to date. 126 successful launches since last mission failure, 36 successful landings since last landing failure. Booster with tail number 1067 having the highest number of flights and successful landings, that is 28 times. 339 missions with at least one reused fairings, and approximately 646 numbers of fairing halves were reused. Now moving on to this year's orbital launch, including this one. Here is a pie chart on your screen. This will be the 115th orbital launch attempt, and with that, United States is leading with 73 launches. Worth mentioning, there have been 4 failed orbital launch attempts so far this year. Now, while you check out the pie chart, let me see if the stream is up or not, as it's just about time for the webcast to begin. So yes, it's live. That's nice. So let's head over. Please give me a moment to set things up and not to have any glitches. So Pop Tripika, I'm coming to you. Meanwhile, what happened? Fine. Okay, fine. No worries. So there we go.
Dropback retract.
We are getting the live view of the Falcon 9 in a foggy weather around there. Once again, just a request for you guys, adding value to your viewing experience here at AstroYonder is our top priority. If you felt we somewhat achieved that, please consider giving this stream a like. It helps others to find this stream. Also consider subscribing to our channel as we work hard to bring you streams packed with stats, details, and insight. We would be incredibly grateful for your support. So I guess you heard the call outs there. Tanks getting pressurized for strong back retract, and currently the strong back retract has started. Hopefully you can see right now the strong back reclining away from the Falcon 9, and it will recline about 13 degrees away from the Falcon 9. To prepare the retraction, the clamp arms at the very top of the second stage, just below the payload fairing, opens up, and these are operated hydraulically. So while watching this live view of Falcon 9, a couple of important steps were completed meanwhile. The spacecraft team switched to internal power a few minutes ago, and fueling of the Falcon 9 first stage is finished. That means all the RP-1 propellant is now on board. We are still loading the liquid oxygen on both the first and second stages. And we'll be listening in a couple of minutes for lock slot closeout for both the stages. And I guess we got the call out for second stage 1 lock slot completion. So we are now waiting for second stage lock slot to get complete, and that will finish up at just inside T-2 minutes mark. Right now the strong back is reclined 13 degrees completely away from the Falcon 9. It will be further pulled off at the time of liftoff of Falcon 9. Yes, now Prop Tripika, it's a classic foggy weather there at Vandenberg. Even there are some water droplets on the camera screen. Why there is no call out for stage 2 lock load. But as we cross the time, there we go. They gave a little late, but stage 2 lock load is complete right now, meaning Falcon 9 is having 1 million pounds of propellant on board right now. We are now beginning to vent down the pressure that was in the tubing on the strong back, and ground gas goes out. We heard that, and with that we bleed the extra pressure off. And that cold gas, when it reacts with the moist humid air here at the Pacific, it gives us that nice white cloud. Why this is buffering and why the quality is even low? I guess X is already getting some high traffic. So right on time, Falcon 9 flight computers on both the stages are running the rocket to the last minute of count. Now let's listen to the go call out.
LD is go for launch.
There we go. SpaceX launch director giving the go for the launch. We are coming close to T minus 30 seconds. All systems continues to remain go for the launch of Falcon 9 and Starlink, debuting a new shell for the Starlink mega constellation, that is the 17th one.
T minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff of Falcon 9. Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
T plus 20 seconds into the flight, we have a successful liftoff. Falcon 9 has cleared the tower, being the appetizer for the upcoming main course of Starship launch. Now we got some good healthy call out that stage 1 engine chamber pressure is nominal, and telemetry, I think they got said that power and telemetry, or there we go. Right now power and telemetry is nominal. So we are now throttling down the 9 million engines as we prepare for the period of maximum dynamic stress coming up. Falcon 9 have exceeded Mark 1 on the right now, as Falcon 9 is faster than the speed of sound as we have gone supersonic. We also heard the max Q call out. We are through the period of maximum stress on the vehicle, and we have again throttled the Merlin engines back up to full power. Next, expecting the call out for MVAC engine chill.
MVAC chill has started.
There we go. So right now we started to chill down the MVAC engine on the second stage prior to its ignition just after stage separation. Coming up, 3 events in rapid succession: the shutdown of main engine on first stage, that is main engine cutoff, followed by stage separation and ignition of the second stage MVAC engine, also known as SES-1, that will boost the payload into low Earth orbit. So let's hear the call out. Meanwhile, would like to welcome Richard Carr for joining us. I hope you are doing fine, Richard, and enjoying the stream. And today we will be getting some cool views here, as it's a daytime launch from both the stages.
Main engine cutoff. Stage separation confirmed. MVAC startup.
So there we go. We got the callouts for all the back-to-back milestones. Traffic again, traffic. So next, expecting the confirmation call out for fairing separation, and hope you guys can see. the four hypersonic titanium grid fins to begin slowly deploying. Now the stage separation is successful. What is happening? I guess for the buffering, the extra traffic, we missed the call out for the confirmation of the fairing separation, but I guess it went successfully. Right now we are watching some awesome views from both the stages. Now Falcon 9's first stage will rise towards the apogee before descending back towards the landing site.
The vehicles are on a nominal trajectory.
For today, it's the drone ship, of course, I Still Love You station in the Pacific Ocean. We did got some good healthy call out for vehicle being in good trajectories for both of them. And here I don't know what is causing this issue, but this is not for my internet speed. Really, it's disappointing. Don't know what is happening. Again, X is having some glitches or what? Please hold on a second. Let me check it. What is happening right now? Even on clicking the live button, it's still buffering. Please kindly bear with me. Hold on a second. I'm making things set up for you guys once again. Don't want to miss you things. I'm really feeling bad as this is happening for you guys. So we got again the same thing is happening. It's not for that, Richard. I guess is there are some issues with X or something because I'm trying in every kind of possible ways to mitigate the problem, but it's not helping out. I'm changing the video quality, making it auto. Even if I'm giving 480p, it's not helping out. It's really sad to see this. Like, even on the lowest possible qualities, it's not playing. I don't know. Although you can see me or the stream playing fluidly. So it's quite obvious that its access problem is there. I guess it's getting extra traffic or for the last time how it went down worldwide, something like that. But once again, let me just try it. I won't give up on that, on this. Sorry, I will again try it, whether if it's playing or not. If possible, I will get back in the live and we'll start from where we missed out things. These things really makes me puzzled. Still the same. Even they are having this kind of problems. Well, it's getting really hectic. Don't know. Thought this will be a really sorry, guys. I can't help this one. I'm trying every possible way, but it's not helping out. Just a second. Let me still try it once.
Falcon.
I guess now we can. So let me just get back in time and let me start it from where we lost it.
Telemetry nominal.
So there we go. We got the call out for power and telemetry nominal. Falcon 9 being supersonic right now. Next up will be the max Q call out. Already we did cross these things previously, but as we were having some issues going on with the playback, so I just rewind the stream from where we lost the views, so that you won't miss anything. So next up will be the MVAC engine chill,
MVAC chill has started.
and following this we will be having 3 events in rapid succession: the shutdown of main engine on first stage, then main engine, that is called main MECO, followed by stage separation and ignition of the second stage MVAC engine, also known as SES1, that will loft the payload into low Earth orbit. So let's listen to those callouts. And my sincere apologies for the glitch we faced during the live view of this Falcon 9 launch. I guess it was some issues with X, although there was no such problem reported at our end.
Main engine cutoff. Stage separation confirmed. MVAC startup.
So these are the callouts we were waiting for all the back-to-back milestones. Next, expecting the confirmation callout for fairing separation. And you can see those nitrogen thrusters on the left-hand side of your screen, reorienting the first stage, and those four hypersonic titanium grid fins getting deployed. Although it got deployed, now the stage separation is successful. Now, meanwhile, just a reminder, we previously saw Group 14 being skipped entirely, with SpaceX jumping straight to Group 15. Now, again, with today's launch, Group 16, or the Shell 16, you can say, is being skipped.
Vehicles are on a nominal trajectory.
With this Group 17-1 launch, again, the same issue. I don't know what is having the problem. Right now, there should not be any more traffic. And at this same point, they are having this issue.
Trajectory.
Let's see what it happens now. They are having, absolutely, they are having some problem. Let's play from here. I guess they are having some kind of glitch over there. So what I was saying that Group 16 is getting escaped with this launch of Group 17-1 launch, and this launch also marks the first Starlink mission to Sun-Synchronous Orbit inclination in over 2 years, following the Group 3-5 launch back in 2023. Previously, we had 5 launches under Group 3, each deploying 46 numbers of version 1.5 Starlink satellites to Sun-Synchronous Orbit at an altitude of 560 kilometers, with the inclination of 97.6 degrees as of today.
Stage 1 FTS is saved.
Similarly, today's Group 17-1 mission will target a near polar orbit with the same inclination but with an altitude of 535 kilometers, slightly lower than the previous ones. And this Sun-synchronous orbit is intended to improve Starlink's coverage in remote polar regions. Previously, Sun-synchronous orbit launches were for version 1.5 variant, but this time it's going to be for the version 2 mini. They are even having skipping some milestones on the live. I don't know what, and I pray that these things won't be happening at the Starship launch. So I don't know what things they skipped up. They skipped up the entry burn startup. Again, the same issue. In this way, how we will be watching a stream, skipping each of these important steps meanwhile. So this is the point where we were having the problem, no? We have a, just see this point, all of a sudden jump. And again, at some point, it will be start buffering. Anyways, today's one is a glitchy stream for Group 17-1, how it started, how the debut the Shell 17. Anyways, not to blame them, it's for us because we all are tuning in all together today. The traffic is so much that it blew, I think they blew up their servers. So stage 1 entry burn lasted for 21 seconds. Yep, it came back. Okay, at least the landing we can see. What a beautiful, marvelous view we are getting. So there we go. Oh my goodness. The same. I can't anymore. Really, it's making me out of my mind. So, as you saw, in a glitchy way, stage 1 made its landing, marking 133rd landing on, of course, I Still Love You droneship. And also, this landing marks the 432nd landing of an orbital class Falcon 9 rocket. After that, we had, I have to say like this today, we had the second engine cutoff, that is SECO 1, and following that event, the second stage with payload on board will enter into about 46 minutes of coast phase as the vehicle ascends to its target orbit for the payload deployment. Deepika, I don't know. Excuse me, how you saw the landing. It seems like something else what we are watching. Anyways, but seriously, my sincere apologies on behalf of them, or don't know what's the issue. At least it's not for my internet and for anything from our end here at AstroYonder. It's purely based on their side. Even lowering at 480p, they are not able to play and having glitches. What can I say? So, anyways, with this, we will be wrapping up the stream. I can't help anything because I got helpless without having anything to do for you guys. Tried enough, but can't do anything. But meanwhile, would like to welcome Richard Carr for subscribing to us and joining our AstroYonder family. Let's see what happens for the last time. No, it won't play. So anyways, I will give up on this because there is no way to fix this out. They are having these glitches on their own. So of course, Pop Replica, that's the main thing I am praying for. If these things will be happening at the Starship launch, and we are seeing some issues with X lately, I hope this won't be getting effect, like having any effect on the, I should not be saying effect, affecting the Starship launch webcast. So although we missed everything, you can say most of the things in today's webcast, but thanks for all of you keeping patience and holding on, bearing with me while I was trying to fix things up, but which I couldn't. So today's launch mark SpaceX's 491st successful mission and the landing marking their 451st success. And with that, we will wrap up our coverage for now with our sincere apologies as we couldn't do anything to make the stream being visible in a good way, as it was not in our hand anything to do. But before wrapping up, would like to thank you for wherever you are watching our launch live coverage. It's really impossible to do this broadcast without you and your encouragement. So thank you for your continued support of what we do here at AstroYonder. Also be sure to check out our social media handle on X for the latest happenings in the space industry and updates on upcoming launches. I won't be able to say that you enjoyed the stream, but hopefully that much which we got to see in a normal way, hope you enjoyed that much. Once again, my sincere apologies and please pardon me. We appreciate everyone joining us for today's launch. Wishing you a nice week ahead. Once again, thanks for watching. This is AstroYonder Live and me Dipta signing off for now, and we will see you in the next Starship Flight 9 webcast. Till then, see you soon.